The show starts in 3, 2, 1.
There goes that man's jock strap. Oh my God, did you see that?
America's team? Yeah, right.
Oh, baby, it's a big day in sports.
There's nothing like battling it out with your teammates all season long to go win a championship.
Green Bay's got it this year.
Huge move for them. I think it's going to be a game changer.
We have a lot to talk about this busy week in the sports world. Welcome to the In a League of Their Own podcast.
The In a League of Their Own podcast is brought to you exclusively by YouTube. By Golf Kicks, Screw Your Shoes. By Anchor, the easiest way to make a podcast. By Canadips, a CBD pouch crafted and manufactured in Humboldt, California. And by Streamer Loot. Check out the In a League of Their Own merch line today. Welcome to the show. Here are your hosts, Austin and Collin.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 113 of In a League of Their Own podcast. Today's interesting sports fact takes us back to the 1988-1989 season in the NHL, where the Philadelphia Flyers goaltender Ron Hextall set the record for most penalty minutes in one season by a goalie with 113. He also has another handful of lists. Most penalty minutes by a goalie regular season career. He's got 584 penalty minutes. Most penalty minutes by a goaltender in career in playoffs. He's got 115 penalty minutes. And then most penalty minutes all time by a goaltender of his career. He's got 699.
Was it dude just throw hands a lot? Like, what do you get?
He'd fuck people up.
I was going to say, that's the only thing I could think of. I've ever seen goalies getting in trouble is just fucking getting mad, people checking into him and shit.
Yeah, that was the Broadway bully days of the Flyers, where they were just the most badass teams out there. They'd kick your ass 8-1 and they'd fight you and just beat you guys to like nothing. It was awesome. And they had a goaltender who wasn't afraid to get in the mix either. If you just like randomly go on the street and ask somebody like, what do you think of Ron Hextall? Everybody's like, oh, he's a crazy son of a bitch.
Was he, what nationality, was he American or Russian or what was he?
I think he's Canadian.
I was going to say, the last name sounds American or Canadian. It doesn't sound anything like European or Asian.
Ron Hextall. He's currently the GM of the Pittsburgh Penguins, and Canadian. He was born in Brandon, Canada.
Let's go, Brandon.
But yeah, shout out to him. I mean, he played a hell of a career for Philly, and now he's still involved in the game, being the GM of Pittsburgh. So pretty cool for him.
That's awesome.
Yeah, he's a crazy son of a bitch.
Yeah, as always, before we jump into our content here for the day, all of our social medias, you can find them down in the description link below. Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, all that good stuff. Feel free to check those out for kind of any breaking news around the major sports in the world. For audio episodes, check out Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, anywhere associated with Anchor. Also, really anywhere you listen to your favorite podcasts, you could probably find us. Again, those 5-star ratings help us move up the charts and are greatly appreciated. And last but not least, our merch, also down in the description link. Streamerloot.co is where our merch is found. T-shirts, sweatshirts, mugs, all that good stuff. You can find that there. And I mean, might as well throw it out there. I know you kind of teased that at the last couple episodes, probably throwing it at the beginning here, so more people hear about it. We kind of got the details set for the interview we've been teasing. So what do we got going on next Monday?
So it turns out we have been blessed with the opportunity to have all-time Packers leading rusher and legend, Amon Green. Super excited to have him on there. Obviously, as a kid, watching him dominate on the television, it's going to be a pretty cool moment getting to sit down with a guy who we used to root for.
Yeah, again, it's kind of, for everybody who's kind of followed our journey, we're not even a year into this. So again, it's an amazing opportunity. Again, looking forward to sitting down with him. And I guess the guy's a big gamer too. So for those of you who know, Austin and I are also big gamers. So that's going to be a fun talking point as well. But yeah, that'll be next Monday. Monday night we'll be releasing that interview with him. So be sure to look out for that. I guess pivoting off football talk with Amon Green into our NFL news for the week. Usually we talk about kind of what happened in the past in games over the past weekend. Since we're now 3-4 days old past those, we're just going to highlight a handful of games here and obviously our typical sports news. I guess we'll just start with our headlines before we dive into our games. What's kind of some releases, injuries, all that good stuff going on?
So Ryan Fitzpatrick likely done for the year. That I think was known when they gave Heineke the number 1 spot. I think that they were kind of planning that back. Baltimore Ravens are planning on bringing back Le'Veon Bell just after releasing him after their struggle, which we'll get to. And then the last two quick interesting pieces. Obviously, we can talk about Pittsburgh Steelers with all their people on the COVID list now. I think they're up to 8 or 9 people now on their COVID list. That's interesting. But the biggest two things, Jets plan to start Joe Flacco at quarterback against the Miami Dolphins. And Baker Mayfield says it's the most beat up he's ever been in his NFL career. I don't think he's going to make it through the year.
Yeah, again, they're kind of in a tough spot, kind of being in the mix and now falling to the bottom of that AFC North. Yeah, kind of see what happens there. I mean, Case Keenum is not a bad backup to have. He led the Vikings to a good season when he was there not too long ago. And then he got a win in the game that Baker Mayfield was out on that Thursday night against the Broncos. I think that was he out then or was the week after, something like that. But yeah, we'll see what happens there. And then a couple things to throw out there. I guess sticking with the Browns. After the departure of OBJ, which we'll get to in a little bit here as well, where he landed, Jarvis Landry spoke out about his lack of touches and him being like upset with that whole thing going on. Again, I'm sure OBJ had a part in that, watching kind of how he took control of the situation, said, I'm not happy. Browns let him go. I mean, heck, that if the Browns lose him too, your number 1 and number 2 receiver on the team, you're kind of in a tough spot. But yeah, we'll kind of see what happens. And yeah, Landry came out, and I mean, I don't blame the guy. He's getting more touches than OBJ was, but nonetheless, probably not even top 15, top 20 as far as number 1 receivers go. So yeah, we'll kind of see what happens with that. We talked about this a couple months ago. We thought it was kind of going to get taken care of behind closed doors. Turns out Brett Favre has not yet paid the state of Mississippi $228,000. He was paid this to speak at an event. Whether the event didn't happen or
he was paid $1.1 million. He repaid back like 600,000 of it.
Oh,
still
okay.
Hasn't paid the rest. And basically, just it's funny. I read a couple articles on this. Mississippi, the agriculture company that paid him this contract, basically was like, yeah, I didn't fucking do any of this. I didn't do it, and it was supposed to help feed a lot of like homeless people. And turns out he hasn't made any comment, nothing on this. So it's getting bumped up, and he could see a day in court for not paying. It's kind of fucked up when you see him doing Copperfit and all these other commercials, but maybe he's broke. Who knows?
Yeah. Or maybe it's a matter of something where even though Brett Favre's name is tied to it, it's probably his agent, whoever's representing him, or just whatever is going on. He's kind of in the background, letting his legal team take care of it. So even though I'm sure he's aware of the situation, he doesn't probably have a direct hand in it as the state of Mississippi and Brett Favre's lawyers or legal team or whatever in the middle of it. But as you said, it's kind of escalated, and now the attorney general is involved as it's kind of in their lap now. So
yeah, he got audited and couldn't prove that he paid that money, so he's fucked.
Yeah, anytime
you get audited and you can't prove something.
Yeah, and you get the government after you, and you're in a tough spot. Oh, two more things here. One, as everybody knows, the NFL moved to a 17-game year season this year. And there's been talks to expand to an 18-game schedule in the near future. Like 2023 was the earliest they're talking about having it, maybe even next year if they move things up. Sources also mention possible expansion teams being added, a location in Toronto, San Antonio, St. Louis, and London to bring it to a 36 team NFL. Why they are looking at bringing 4 teams. I guess it makes the scheduling easier. If they move to an 18-game schedule, they have 36 teams, 18 is half of 36, and I guess it makes the scheduling that much easier to do. So, I mean, as everybody knows, St. Louis Rams existed at one point, so they're the only city on this list who previously had an NFL team, and then 2 international ones: Toronto in Canada and London in the UK, and then obviously San Antonio in Texas. So we'd have a 3-team state in Texas if that happens. So don't know how early this is going to happen. I know I mean, from what I've read about it, it's in the very early stages, but I mean, the NFL's got billions and billions of dollars, so if they really want to make it happen soon, they can make it happen soon. So it'll be kind of interesting to see what happens with that, and I'm sure next off season we'll hear more about it. But
I just can't see them doing that anytime in the near future due to traveling purposes, especially with COVID.
Yeah.
And they adding any international teams until this whole COVID deal is done.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like
and the Rams owner, what's his name, Kroenke, he's got to pay like $6 billion to the city of St. Louis. So that's probably where they're getting their start on potentially bringing an expansion. I'm surprised they just don't build the fucking St. Louis Blues a new arena.
Where do they play?
Oh, I forgot the name. Is it Bridgestone? No, it's not.
And what? Do you know if the St. Louis
Enterprise Center?
Enterprise. The Rams' old stadium in St. Louis. Did they ever tear that down, or what even happened with that?
The Dome. I think they did demolish it and turned it into shopping centers.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the two cities out of this list, San Antonio and St. Louis, should be the easiest to do, just because they're in the U.S. Maybe even Toronto, just because they're right across the border there, and obviously the NBA, NHL have a team in Toronto, so they kind of have the ball rolling there on that, but.
It's still up in the St. Louis Battlehawks of the XFL. That is going to be their home stadium.
Oh, okay.
Because the XFL is starting back up next season because The Rock took that over.
Yeah, The Rock and some lady, they're tag teaming it. I can't remember what her name is.
But yeah, that's supposed to combine with the CFL eventually.
Wasn't the CFL basically funding the whole XFL thing? The XFL was like, we want to keep this going, but because they literally had their.
I think it's the opposite now. The CFL was going to close, and I think The Rock and that lady, the amount of money that they're sticking into it, I think is keeping afloat the CFL.
Oh, okay. I knew it was one way or the other where they're kind of, to stay alive, they had to combine, but yeah, I mean, that was fun to watch. Again, it sucked that they brought it back the year before COVID happened, so they're behind on a shit ton of money to start out, and then probably didn't have the funds to keep it going. But
it turns out, recent news, XFL and CFL are not merging anymore.
Oh shit.
XFL is expected to return in 2023, and they just got a media rights deal worth $100 million for TV. XFL.
I guess good for them to still keep it going on their own then.
So the CFL, that's only going to be the only league in question, I guess, after they come back in 2023, because they used to be on ESPN and shown quite a bit for the CFL. Yeah. And now it's not really at all, especially when you have two teams with the same goddamn name.
Really? What? I don't even know any team names that they.
I think it's Sound Tigers.
I've only ever watched. I could probably count on one hand how many times I've watched CFL games. But yeah, like you said, they're usually They used to be on a lot.
I got it. Is it the Stampeders?
So they have two.
No. One of the teams must have switched their names.
I guess that makes sense.
Nope. Rough Riders. We have the Saskatchewan Rough Riders and the Ottawa Rough Riders.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, there was another team too. I thought there was like I thought the Blue Bombers had two. Yeah, it's funny. It's like you have 9 teams in the league and you have 2 teams with the same name. Like,
They don't even have an even number.
no, they got 9.
Jeez. Yeah, and the last bit of news, kind of a headline again, the whole John Gruden thing, how that went down. He is now suing the NFL and Roger Goodell, saying he was basically targeted, that he was the only coach to go down. They sorted through, found only his emails that said anything bad, and supposedly said, "Oh, we don't need to release the other 600,000, and you're the only guy going down." So, I mean, good for him to kind of shine light on it. Obviously, the guy's still, he did what he did, and like it's not going to change anything. But I could see where he's coming from, and I don't blame him to just like for that many emails, and you're telling me he's the only guy who's
He ain't gonna be the only guy going down, to tell
No.
you that. Unless the NFL does a great job of covering this whole thing up.
Yeah. I mean, Gruden's gonna need a hell of a team of lawyers, because the NFL is gonna have better ones than him. But I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, just public knowledge is just like, it just doesn't seem right. Only one guy getting fired and only one guy being ousted. It's like,
Yeah.
how many people are you protecting, NFL?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's kind of all the headlines. We'll dive into pretty much half of the games from this past week. Kind of some upsets, some ones worth noting. I guess starting with the Thursday night game.
I did have one more piece
Oh,
of news.
Go for it.
The NFL is intensifying COVID-19 protocols around Thanksgiving for the NFL players, requiring mandatory testing for all players and staff Monday through Wednesday after the holiday, and mandatory mask wearing for all players and staff while you're inside the facilities from November 25th to December 1st. Seems like they're trying to crack down here on
Probably just contact with families and stuff for all these players that are going to be traveling and going home for the holiday. I'm sure it's just going to be a matter of keeping people who get COVID under wraps. That's the only thing I could think of. I mean, not around any holiday, I guess. Maybe
they're
I could
trying
see
to
them
keep
doing-
people not traveling and getting together with people who they haven't been with earlier in the year.
So I'm sure they'll do the same thing around
they're
Christmas then too.
saying discipline will be issued against players and clubs have been warned. Effective November 29th, all NFL teams will be required to have video cameras installed in their weight rooms, cafeterias, weight rooms, all outdoor and inside practice bubbles. Teams must retain video from those cameras for 30 days in case the league audits the team for following protocols. So basically, because a lot of people bitching about Rodgers and his situation, they're making all these teams install security footage so that they can be like, hey, we're going to take a look at your last 30 days of footage and see if you followed the rules. Which, I mean, everybody should be following the rules,
Yeah. That's crazy. But basically going to be playing, it's going to be like a Big Brother show of just cameras following you everywhere you go. It makes you wonder too, are we going to see a potential cheating scandal come up of teams getting a hold of other teams' footage somehow? Like if they have to have it stored away to where the NFL can access it at any time, how secure is that other teams can't watch in on a practice and start jotting down plays from another team.
It's just in like meeting areas. Because when they're practicing, they don't have to wear a mask out on the field because you're exerting action. But all these other rooms will have cameras and stuff just to make sure that everybody's wearing a mask, all that stuff, because NFL said that they're going to be dishing out penalties for it. So the warning shots have been fired, and we'll see how enforcive the NFL is on this. It's just interesting that they're doing it right before Thanksgiving.
Like I said, the only way it makes sense again is by tracing.
Or they're panicked that what happening to the Steelers is going to happen to every other team, and they're going to be out superstars.
Yeah. Well, who wasn't there? Was it the Saints? No, not the Saints. There was a team just a week and a half ago that had an outbreak that they were close to meeting that threshold of having to forfeit a game. What team was that? Was it the Saints?
Chargers?
It was Chargers. I can't remember. It was just like, Giants. They had to retest everybody in the organization or whatever.
Yeah, because they had false positives come out.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah, because Saquon was the main guy who tested positive in the facility, went and got tested outside at their own team thing and was negative. So then they had, if there's one bad test, who knows how many bad tests there were. So everybody had to get retested.
Yeah.
It's like, that's just how it should be every day. Vaccinated or not vaccinated, you should just get tested. The second you walk into the facility, you're good. You're not good, go home. So I just keep it flat, the same rules applying to every single team.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't see what the issue is.
Yeah. I'm sure we won't hear about till after the fact of why they're all of a sudden, like you said, kind of in a panic. Whether it's actually to do with the holiday or if the timing is just weird of when they're doing it. But yeah, sounds good then. We'll dive into, again, a handful of games here, starting with Thursday night game last week. Ravens on the road in Miami. Kind of a weird game, very low scoring, and the Dolphins, again, kind of that carousel in the AFC. Team rises to the top. They get upset or just have a loss in general, or they fall down a couple notches. The Ravens were right up there, toe-to-toe, basically, with the Titans, and the loss to the Dolphins kind of knocks them down a couple notches on that ladder. It makes that race in the AFC North that much tighter, where a win there, they kind of got some separation, but now they're right there with everybody else. So,
yeah, I was reading that it's so close in the AFC that being in 15th and getting a win could jump you all the way up to 7th, being in the wild card.
Because what was it? 12 of the 16 teams are above 500.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
In the NFC, there's only like 6 teams that are above 500.
It was more than that. There's got to be more than that. Because there's 6 teams that are 7-2 or 8-2 right now.
3, 4. There's 6 teams that are over 500.
That's it.
NFC. Cowboys 7-2, Cardinals 8-2, Rams 7-3, Packers 8-2, Bucks 6-3, Saints 5-4. Everybody else is under 500.
Wow.
Yep.
I never would have guessed that.
That's why the biggest debacle right now is the NFC West. That's really that in the South, with the Bucks losing 2 straight and the Panthers heating back up. Those are the only 2 divisions that are literally close. Every other one, we have a 4-game lead on the Vikings, and the Cowboys have a 4-game lead on the Eagles. So it's basically 2 teams are already locked, and the rest is a crapshoot.
Especially because the Packers play the Vikings this week, so that's a head-to-head and another game up if they beat them this weekend. Yeah, going into kind of, I guess not a game, but just talking about a team, the Titans. I guess throw out the score. They did beat the Saints, close one, 23-21. But again, they keep rolling and show. Like you said before we went live, they're getting it done without Derrick Henry. Adrian Peterson isn't like putting up game-changing numbers, taking the game over.
They changed that offense 100%. They're now a passing offense, run it when you need to. Where when they had Derrick Henry, he was like 80. I forgot the stat. It was like 83% of all their offense he was responsible for. Derrick Henry was. You lose that 83%. Obviously, Adrian Peterson and Deonta Foreman they're vets, they ain't going to be able to put up what Henry was doing. So a huge shout out to Vrabel changing this offense, giving Tannehill more room to pass, 19 for 27, over 200 yards. Didn't turn the ball over, and I feel like that's why they won. Because he's that type of quarterback that I put on with like Baker Mayfield. Like they can shine if you don't turn the ball over, though. But Tannehill has proven, obviously besides the playoffs, that, and that's the crazy thing too that I heard the other day, is like there's really only one quarterback in all of the AFC that has proven themselves in the playoffs that they can be a guy, and that's Mahomes. Everybody else is question marks. Lamar, Tannehill,
Yeah.
Josh Allen, you don't know what you're gonna get. And I don't know. I think Tannehill can do a good job. This defense for the Titans, I mean, I think that is their pride and joy. And with Derrick Henry looking to get back the first week of January, early reports that he's spoken with his teammates is that he's feeling good. Should be back for the end of the year for that long haul, which is going to be huge for that Titans team.
Mm-hmm. Because if they keep rolling without him, you plug him in. Very similar, and we'll get to it in the NBA. Warriors rolling without Klay Thompson. You had a big piece like that back in after you're already playing very well. It's scary to run into them. And,
as long as it doesn't change too much of what they're already,
Mm-hmm. Well, that's the thing. It's easy. I feel like it's easier to revert back to the run than it is to force to the pass game, which you wouldn't tell with them because they've made it look easy. But it also helps AJ Brown and Julio Jones to throw to helps a lot in that case as well.
And they were without Julio on Sunday.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Titans keep rolling. Kind of see again what they can do before Henry gets back.
Yeah, and they surpassed the Baltimore Ravens now as the most people that were on their roster this year. They're up to 96. People hurt, coming in, out, all that.
Oh, really?
Yep, their team has been a revolving door, and you couldn't tell looking at their record.
Yeah, no kidding.
Where it seems like Baltimore maybe hit the block in the wall where they got to hit the reset button.
Yeah.
Lions Steelers real quick. Lions pick up their first non-loss, ending that streak. Steelers looked atrocious without Ben. Mason Rudolph is definitely terrible. Jared Goff is even worse. With Goff hurting his oblique, don't be surprised here to see Dan Campbell put him on the IR, and we won't see Goff the rest of the season. I think they're trying to ship his ass out of town.
Who would be it? David Blau would step in, right? He's a backup. Yeah, I mean, such a
14 for 25, 114 yards. And Mason Rudolph throws for 242. Like, I don't know.
It just looked like a rough game. Windy, rain, just terrible conditions.
You could have replaced him and Stafford from how they played this weekend.
Yeah, pretty much.
And they looked identical. Shit.
Yeah. Yeah, and again, the Lions aren't going to go 0-17, but then again, kind of talking about how the Ravens lost to the Dolphins, the Steelers could have jumped on that Ravens loss and took control of the AFC North. Nope, they tie, which is better than a loss, but still not really.
I think that's worse than a loss
in that
honestly.
case. Just because it's
in a division that tight, in a whole conference that's that tight. Like, yeah, you do have the benefit of the doubt because you still are technically in second place, being 5-3-1 in your division. But I don't think it's going to help you in the long run having that tie.
If it was against an AFC team, maybe, because it's one less loss in your conference if it comes down to tiebreakers. But against an NFC team, it doesn't. If you're not winning, a loss or a tie isn't helping you in any case.
Yeah, and it's like in their own division, who's 6-3, they're 5-3-1, Bengals 5-4, Browns 5-5. one of those teams doesn't tie and gets a win, Steelers should go all the way to the fourth, all the way to the last spot.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I don't know. That team, when you think that they are going to lose, most people, when they think they're going to lose, they win. And when you think that they're going to smoke a team, they fucking lose. And it's proven itself right here.
Yeah, and again, like you said, with kind of the outbreak that they've had, Big Ben on the COVID list, Minka Fitzpatrick, Claypool,
Smith-Schuster, Watt.
Well, they're just out with injuries. They're not on COVID.
They're on the list.
Well, Smith-Schuster's was out 3 weeks ago with a shoulder injury.
I think he got put on the COVID list, though.
Yeah, but he's not playing, so what does that matter?
Because now that he's a part of the protocol, if he's vaccinated or unvaccinated, he could miss another 10 days minimum.
Yeah, but he's already out for the year. So if he's out for the year with a shoulder injury, what's the point of putting
he
a
was
COVID
out for
date?
he was out for the year?
Yeah, he got season-ending surgery like 3 or 4 weeks ago on his shoulder. So remember, he was on somebody's podcast and he was like crying and emotional about not being able to play the rest of the year.
Huh.
And TJ Watt,
sure shit. Yeah.
TJ Watt's, was he a hip injury?
Hip and knee.
Hip and knee.
I thought that he had COVID symptoms.
Oh,
It's like a lot of their defense wide receivers were like, it's like contact tracing. It's like they were sitting too close to each other or whatever, where I saw this name of like 11 players that they're all. It's the fucking media though, dude. So
yeah.
I don't know what to believe.
Again, like we were talking about the other day, with just how the privacy of these players, but because they're an employee of the NFL can release their information however they want. But yet, random people on the street like you and I, if I had COVID or I broke my leg or I had some disease, that's private information. I don't have to tell anybody shit about what I do and don't have. But yet these guys, because again, they're an employee of the NFL can do whatever they want with their information. Like I was saying too, with how in college football, 99% of injuries are in parentheses undisclosed, because it's private information. They don't have to say anything. But I don't know. I still think it's weird how they just can do whatever they want with that information and throw it out there. It's like,
well, they're technically not, because I'm just reading their article. It's just like, Minka Fitzpatrick just tests positive for COVID-19. If vaccinated, Fitzpatrick will be permitted to rejoin the Steelers if he has 2 negative tests, blah, blah, blah. If he's not vaccinated, he'll have to isolate for 10. So if he's out for more than 7 days, then you can kind of assume he's unvaccinated.
yeah, well, or even
where
if
Rodgers is the only person whose fucking whole thing got blown up, and that's the only reason that happened was because somebody who was vaccinated was positive and spread it to the people who weren't. If that never would have happened, nobody ever would have fucking known anything,
Yeah.
It just sucks, and especially when you have a superstar like Aaron Rodgers, you have so many people poking questions and all this type of shit, where if it's some guard on some team, it's like no one cares. But because it's him, I feel like the media just has an agenda against him, where it is swayed like that. Just like how Cam Newton, he was refusing to get vaccinated. He's refusing. And it's just like, he never said that he was. He fucking got the vaccine.
Mm-hmm.
So what are you talking about?
Yeah.
It's a bunch of lies.
Yeah, and then moving on to our next game, or I guess kind of in this case, 2 teams, the LA Rams and Tampa Bay Bucks, 2 of the top NFC's top teams, dropped 2 straight.
The 2 Super Bowl favorite teams.
Yeah.
Sucking.
Rams dropped Monday Night Football against San Francisco in a game that they were heavily favored on the road. Bucks also on the road against Washington. Washington, a 2-6 team, kind of down for the count. Not really anybody thinking about them. Defense puts up one of their best outings of the year without Chase Young, who's out the rest of the year with an ACL injury.
He played. He got hurt in the game.
Well, yeah, that's what, like he was like second quarter he went out. So I know they played most of the game without him than with him because he came out at halftime in street clothes and crutches and was still being a presence on the sidelines. But
yeah, he only had one tackle.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, obviously as Packers fans, great to see two teams that especially coming the Rams have a bye this coming week, coming off their bye week. They will go to Green Bay, where Green Bay gets a win this week against Minnesota. They get a win in 2 weeks against the Rams. They're kind of off to the races, having the head-to-head over the Rams, head-to-head over the Cardinals. I'm trying to think who else is in the mix that they might play. That'd be about it. They don't play Dallas. They don't play
Arizona again.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, the Packers are kind of in the driver's seat with these two teams slipping up as of late. Like you said, watching that game Sunday or Monday night, Stafford, Goff couldn't tell the difference. They both had very, very similar stat lines. I mean, the first pick was like, where was he throwing it? Second one, Tyler Higbee dropped it and it bounced off of him and went into Jimmy Ward's hands. So that was less of Stafford's fault and more of the guy.
And then that guy had the gooch catch for an interception that should have been an interception.
Yeah, but
called pass interference for no reason.
Yeah, well, like pass interference was on a different guy, which was it? Yeah, which was a questionable call. I think, like you said, it shouldn't have got called, but yeah, I don't know. Again, it's interesting to see two teams that are heavily favored struggling, but I mean, again, the Bucs are in a tough division. Saints are no pushover. Panthers are kind of getting hot again. Rams just lost to the 49ers. They're staying relevant. Seahawks, kind of the worst team in that division right now, but you never know what they can do. And then obviously the Cardinals are right there too. So
just watching Tom Brady, it's like he doesn't have the juice that he had in years past to just turn it on anymore.
Well, he's facing younger and younger, faster and faster defenses to where that clock is.
He's slow.
Yeah, like that clock in his head is a half second too late to sensing pressure, getting the ball off at the right time.
And you can really see it without AB, a guy who can take the top off of the defense, and without Gronk, his two favorite people to throw the ball to. He's in complete disarray without those two guys.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know who the Bucs play this coming weekend. I know they just came off of a bye. Giants
Monday night, which the Giants have been playing pretty tough as of late as well. So that could be another game that the Bucs could struggle. And just the one thing about the Rams that I take away from that, 49ers literally ran the same 4 or 5 plays all game long and dominated that team. Von Miller got his ass kicked by George Kittle all night. And everybody's like, oh, it's Odell's fault. He's the curse ever since we got the. It's like, he fucking just got on your team, dude. Like, he had no impact in the game.
He wasn't supposed to play, but Robert Woods tore his ACL, so they needed an extra receiver. Otherwise, Odell wasn't even going to play Monday night.
It's just funny how people are already saying that he's a curse and all this shit. And he's just like, dude, he didn't even have an impact really in the game.
No. Yeah, he's targeted 3 times, 2 catches for 18 yards. I mean, the guy probably knew a handful of plays that they brought him in on packages. They're like, all right, this is a package we're using. You know it. Go out there.
His 2 catches, I believe, that he had were both stop routes on the outside.
Yeah, they're on the edge of the boundaries, I think.
Yeah, he had 2 for 18. So, yep, both his catches. And then shifting on over to 2 teams that whooped the shit out of their opponents this weekend. Mac Jones and the Patriots laying the smack down to the Browns. I saw this coming. I see this Patriots team continuing. This team is like a train. just putting more coal in and just fucking going faster. And I called it a couple weeks ago. They're coming for the Bills, and they're going to put the Bills down. Mac Jones has accelerated way perfectly for how that team needs him to play. And even with a fractured ankle, he still stays out there and plays the game and wins. He's supposed to be, I don't know if they ruled him out for this weekend or if he's going to try to play on a broken ankle.
I haven't seen anything about him not playing, so I'm assuming he is.
And he seems like one of those guys that's a tough son of a bitch.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's a big guy, like I can see him doing it. And they play the Falcons this weekend, so who knows how much they even need him out there.
Yeah. That's the thing, again, that like the Falcons, how they looked going into the other lopsided game against the Cowboys. 43-3 was the final in that one. It was a very close game, and then the opening kickoff happened.
First quarter was actually pretty close.
Was
it 7-3, and then the Cowboys scored 29 points in the second quarter.
Yeah, that's right. Which that's unreal. Going up there was up 33 or 36, whatever it was, going into halftime. It was the first time since 1970 that happened. A team was up 30 that many points at a half or whatever. It might have been just the Cowboys too, but yeah, I mean, Cowboys bounced back. They got their America's team swagger on their side again.
They look good.
Yeah.
Granted, their opponent is not a top level rated opponent. We shall see this weekend actually how good the Cowboys are, because they got Mr. Mahomes and the Chiefs on the road at Arrowhead. And we can quick dive into that game too. The Chiefs, I think they've got their mojo back. Seeing Mahomes run around how he did, he was all fired up. You could tell his energy was back. Like, for whatever reason, it's been missing. It's back. That whole team seemed really fired up. And I don't know. That team plays with a lot of energy because they have a lot of speed and a lot of to just go. Where if they get caught into a slugfest, those are the games that they're going to lose. Where if they can just step on the gas and put it in cruise and just go, you move yourself from last to first in your division by beating your division opponent 41-14. And Mahomes becomes the third quarterback ever. 400 passing yards, 5 touchdowns.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, kind of how Rodgers talked yesterday on McAfee too. Sometimes you just get into a rhythm and you can just you start taking those chances on like a 10-90 ball where your guys' 10% chance to get it. Sometimes you get those when you're just in a rhythm and everything's going right. Sometimes you take those chances. And Mahomes, when he winged it all the way down to his running back who's double covered and just makes a sick catch in the end. Hey, I think that team is on its way back.
Yeah, that's what I was just gonna say. I'm putting this. I saw the stoplights on. I wouldn't say stoplight. I'm at a yellow light with Kansas City right now. Kind of walking on thin ice with them. I mean, if they can continue this for the rest of the year. Yes, they're back. But again, looking at this week against the Cowboys, if they can lay pipe against the Cowboys and play a really good game, win by 2, 3, 4 scores, their defense looks really good, then come next Monday's episode or Wednesday, whenever we talk about this game, then I will say, okay, Kansas City's back. But right now, they had one good game after kind of playing mediocre a lot. But they've been building up a little bit. They kind of got out of that mediocre category 2 weeks ago.
They've won 3 in a row.
Better. Yeah. And they've been building so where they looked really good again against the Raiders, who are no pushover. They're still one of the top teams in the AFC right now as far as record goes. If they can take out the Cowboys, who, I mean, you have 2 teams coming off 40+ point outings and looked really good. So which team is going to get
bad teams though?
Yeah.
So how much? Well, I shouldn't say the Browns are a bad team. Patriots kicked their ass. Falcons, you could kind of put their defenses sus. There's a little you don't know what you're going to get really get out of them. And yeah, I don't know. But yeah, it should be a good indication for all these Cowboy fans too, who've been so hyped up on how good they are. They haven't played really anybody this year. The one playoff team, both of the playoff teams that they did play, I believe they lost. No, Broncos didn't make the play. Did the Broncos make the playoffs last year as a wild card?
No, remember, Kansas City's the first 2020 playoff team the Cowboys play this year. Week 11 was their first.
Well, they played the Bucks.
Week 1. But yeah, since then, like
That's fucking crazy.
They had a 9-week
Chargers didn't make it.
Yeah, they remember. Well, what was it? They were like 2-7 in one possession games last year, to where they were that close to winning a shit ton of games and they lost them.
But yeah, they got a tough schedule the way out. Chiefs, Raiders, Saints, Washington football team, Giants, Washington football team again, Arizona, and then the Eagles. So don't count out the Giants or the Eagles yet.
Yeah. Yeah, it's gonna be a test this coming weekend. If the Cowboys look like shit against Kansas City, congratulations, you won the NFC East. You're gonna get fucking shit out in the playoffs. Good job. Like good job. You won your division, but you're not gonna win a playoff game if you can't be competitive against good teams.
Yeah, because the first seed gets the bye.
Yeah.
2 plays
7, 3-6, 4-5.
So, and the Cowboys would be the 4th. So they'd be playing the first wild card team, which would be the Rams.
Yeah, which is crazy to think that the Rams are a wild card team with, again, how good them and the Cardinals are. One's going to be a division winner playing for a one seed, and the other one's going to be stuck playing wild card weekend.
Yeah, and I mean, Seattle's kind of the only team that's out of the running right now in the West, just due to Russ missing way too much time. But don't be surprised if the 49ers end up finding a way. If the Rams, it's still possible, very possible for them to take 3rd in the West.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if the Niners are the Rams' kryptonite. That's 6 straight now.
Yeah.
The Niners have pummeled the Rams. And it's funny because the Rams are 8-1, 9-0, and I think 6-2 against all the other teams, and they're 0-6 against the Niners. Kryptonite.
Yeah. And it got back to, again, of what they've got really good at over the past couple of years. They got away from a little bit. They got back to it Monday night. Kyle Shanahan came out and said, if we're going to beat the Rams, we got to run the ball 40 times. They ran it 41, 42 times on Monday night, and that was the recipe for success. So long as they can stay with that, and we've talked about this too so many times, Jimmy Garoppolo is not a gunslinger, put the team on his back quarterback. 15 to 25 passes a game, that's the window you want to aim for with Jimmy Garoppolo. Turn around and hand it off. I mean,
because he can shine for those 15 to 25 passes.
Yeah, he's got Kittle, he's got Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk in his second year. He's a little slow compared to his rookie year, but still he's got talented guys to throw to. So yeah, I feel like they're big chunk plays when he does throw the ball. It's not nickel and diming guys. I feel like the 49ers aren't a big like screen team or check down team. They either run the ball or drags,
or run the ball, pass it across the middle of the field. That's all they do.
Yeah, and then going into our last team/game, our Packers get their first shutout of the year, the first one since I think 2018. I think is what it was against the Seahawks, 17-0. As you mentioned, Russ comes out, lays a goose egg, doesn't look. You could see he was clicking now and then, but which kept him in the game. I mean, if the Packers offense was rolling and Russ struggled like that, it would have been even more lopsided. But despite Russ's struggles, he couldn't get going enough to put a single point on the board.
Our defense is too good.
Yeah.
And for the same reason why our offense never got going is that Seahawks defense played actually pretty well.
Yeah. They did.
That was a good defensive game to watch. Glad the Packers got the W, and they're continuing to roll. And then I think the one thing that we forgot to touch on, Cam Newton back in Carolina.
Oh yeah, that's right.
First rushing touchdown on his first run, first passing touchdown on his first pass. Became the first person to do that. And he's back. Named starter coming for this weekend in the revenge game against the Washington football team, facing old head coach Ron Rivera. I picked the Panthers. I think that this team has found some new life, and just the energy, dude, of this team, just seeing him being back is just insane.
On both sides of the ball. Obviously, he's there's that video of him breaking down a huddle and like breaking everybody down. He immediately stepped into that leadership role. That defense stepped up in a way that we haven't seen since the first 3 weeks when they started 3-0. They got some juice back. When you bring a guy like that back into the building, yes, like he brings a lot of attention. Some of it might be good, some of it might be bad, but nonetheless,
It's all in good spirits.
yeah. And came out and said too, like, it's not about me. I'm just here to play football and win games for the Panthers. So, as much as the media, like, I mean, he's a colorful guy. The way he dresses, the way he talks, the way he carries himself. Nothing bad about it at all. I mean, you like to see personalities like that. It's how the media portrays it as, oh, he's trying to make it about him. He's selfish, this and that. But he comes out and he's like, that's just his personality shining through. He's not trying to make it about him. And like you said, he's just there to win football games. And yeah, Panthers look good. And again, in a division where the Bucs have lost 2 straight, that door is wide open for the Saints. If they can kind of figure things out with Simeon, maybe Taysom Hill gets more reps at QB1. And then again, the Panthers right there on the doorstep as well.
Bucks, just like the Rams, caught themselves now in a track meet for the playoffs. They've got themselves in
for the division.
Oh yeah, that's what I meant.
Well, both.
Well, right, but yeah, even more so their division, where early at the beginning of the year, those two are the 2 favorites to come out of the NFC, and they have now got themselves a tough work. This has really been a fun season with underdogs upsetting. Vegas is having a shit year as far as setting these lines with all these underdog teams winning. I forgot, it was some crazy statistic. It was like 50 something. I don't even know. I don't even want to try to remember. But yeah, that's all we got for the NFL. Let's hop on over to the hardwood.
Yeah, over in the NBA, I only got one thing to mention here. Again, not gonna go through a whole bunch of scores. Staples Center, iconic Staples Center, is going to be renamed to Crypto.com Center starting Christmas Day. A $700 million naming rights deal for the stadium for, what was it, 20-year deal, I think.
Yeah.
Kind of out of left field with this. I mean,
I don't like it.
Staples
Center is an iconic fucking arena.
Mm-hmm.
And you're just gonna let some crypto assholes with a lot of money be like, oh, fuck you.
Yeah.
We want the name of this. I don't like that at all.
Yeah, I don't either. I mean, Staples is kind of, I mean, it's just like a office supplies store, so it's not like an iconic household name, but the name, like Staples by itself is Staples Center, like that arena name is iconic, and like you said, I don't like the name change either. So yeah, it's gonna be weird to see that and hear it going forward after Christmas.
That's stupid. And whatever it's gonna be, Staples Center at Crypto whatever arena.
No, it's Crypto.com Center, so their Staples is gonna have nothing to do with it. Which I don't know how that works. Does that mean that like Christmas Day was like Staples' last day to like renew their contract, and maybe they're like, we'll do 500 million, and Crypto.com's like, we'll do 700 million, and they went to the highest bidder. Yeah, the most expensive name rights deal in venue history. I saw that. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think the NBA really does that. It's just like something center, something arena, something forum. It's never really
fucking crypto, dude.
it's never. I don't think I've ever seen an arena where it's like this arena and then the court is named something else.
They're now involved in Formula One, UFC, Italy's top series, Montreal Canadiens, Philadelphia 76ers. So they've been on a spending spree.
It's the future.
Dude, dumb. I don't know why they just don't name the Clippers' new arena when they get that built, Crypto Arena. Leave the Staples Center for the Lakers. Like, that's got some history and some legacy behind that.
Yeah. I wonder what
Money talks.
Have you heard any? I don't even know a name for the Clippers' new arena. I know they are just breaking ground on it, and it's not going to be for another, I think, year and a half before they can get there. But I don't remember if I've ever seen a name thrown out there for it.
The Intuit Dome.
Intuit Dome, okay.
Mm-hmm. Intuit, like TurboTax.
Yeah.
Yeah, they purchased that.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. It's supposed to open in 24-25.
Yeah, I mean, other than that, nothing to mention. Again,
Just Giannis been cleared for contact. He's starting his one-on-one drills. He's been out for so long. I feel like people are forgetting about him.
He's only been out for like a game.
Has it really only been that long? I thought that it was way longer than that.
No, he's only been out for one game, I think.
Williamson, who's in his third year, has missed every single game this season.
We have Lakers Bucks play tonight. That'll be a fun one.
Yeah, Zion's been out all season, dealing with his right foot fracture that he suffered during the summer.
Yeah, he's supposed to be back. Oh,
he just started doing drills. He just was cleared to start doing drills and stuff. So hopefully we see him back on the court. I know the one thing that everybody kept telling this kid was you got to watch your weight. All that force and shit that you jump with, man, your knees and ankles, you only got one set of those. You don't want to wear them out.
Yeah, Bucks have played 14. Giannis has played 13, so he's only missed one.
Who has?
Giannis.
He's only missed one game?
Yeah. Is that who you're talking about?
Zion Williamson?
No, before that. Were you saying something about Giannis missing time?
No.
Oh, you must have said Zion, and I thought I heard Giannis. That's why I was confused because you're like, oh, he's been out for so long, people are forgetting about him. Like, what are you talking about? Giannis he's only missed one game. You know, it was like
I was talking about Zion.
Oh, I thought I heard Giannis. That's why I was confused. But yeah, Zion. Yeah, I mean the Pelicans are so far behind now. What are they? I think they got 2 wins on the year. If that, they might only have one still. Honestly, they're 2-13. Yeah. So, I mean, obviously, it'd be nice to see Giannis back on the court. Giannis, I'm freaking putting words in my own mouth. It'd be nice to see Zion back on the court, but the season's already too far gone for New Orleans to make a push down there. Because what division are they in? They're in the Southwest. So yeah, they got Dallas and Memphis ahead of them, who are having good seasons. So I wonder if he's one of those guys, kind of like Anthony Davis, getting out of there, going somewhere where his talent isn't going to get wasted in sub 5.
If you can't stay healthy, it ain't going to matter where you go.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. It's going to be tough with how big he is to be able to stay healthy and be able to perform at the level he wants to without getting hurt nonstop.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's all that's going on in the NBA. Again, Bucks Lakers tonight. That should be fun. Bucks are 6-8 right now, so they're looking to kind of get back rolling again. Yeah. I guess we'll go to college football here. Last night, every Tuesday night, they released the college football playoff rankings. Top 6, nobody moved. Everything stayed the same there. I mean, for good reason. All those teams got to win this week. So nobody really should move if nobody lost, or I think the closest game was I'm trying to think who did Michigan play. For some reason I feel like that game was close. Maybe it wasn't.
But they won by a couple. By
Oh,
10?
21-17 over Penn State. Yeah, that was the closest game of the top 6 teams. Otherwise, every other game was not very close. I guess the game worth mentioning, biggest upset, biggest mover this week is Oklahoma getting upset by Baylor. They fall from 8 to 13 in a 27-14 loss in Waco, Texas. So Caleb Williams couldn't get it done.
There's a lot of people that were calling for that upset.
Yeah.
That this was the first defense that they actually were facing all season long.
Mm-hmm.
And look what happened. They got worked.
Yeah, and that pretty much puts that. I mean,
they're done.
Yeah, they're not going to be in a college football
playoff. Even with them undefeated, they still weren't given a chance because they
the fact that they were undefeated and sitting at 8, they would have needed a lot of shifting, a lot of losses ahead of them to move up. And yeah, aside from that, there's, again, since the rankings are the same, we don't really, not really a whole lot to talk about. Big games this weekend. We'll talk more about them on Friday too, but Wisconsin, who also moved up to 15 in the college football playoff rankings, so they're creeping their way back up the list. Again, not going to be in the college football playoffs by any means with 3 losses, but they host Nebraska this week. Again, should be a lopsided game, but Nebraska has had 1-score games in pretty much every game this year. I think their biggest loss was actually to Ohio State 2 weeks ago when that was 9 points. That was their largest loss. Otherwise, Michigan State, Ohio State in the Big Ten. I think that's going to be the biggest game this weekend. Number 7 versus number 4. I think that's Michigan State's ticket back in. If they can get a win on the road at Ohio State, that might be their ticket back in to where do you put Cincinnati in the top 4? It's just like, again, Cincinnati's undefeated, but their strength of schedule, are they good enough? Is an undefeated Cincinnati better than a 1-loss Ohio State, a 1-loss Michigan, a 1-loss Michigan State? I think not. I think not.
You know,
you never
could
know.
be.
You don't know. Yeah, you don't know what
I haven't watched Cincinnati play a game, so I have no opinion on them.
I just see highlights of it now. I think I might have watched one game, like a quarter of their games this year total. I just flip on it, see they're up by 40 something. It's like, all right, flip back off of it.
They put up the points to back up.
Their strength of victory is what's going to get them in. Because their strength of schedule definitely is not. I think they had like 100 going from 2 weeks ago to the finish line. It was like 100 and something easiest schedule, and for the whole season it was like 82nd hardest schedule in FBS. So again, and
then the biggest rumor circling the college football is Oklahoma's head coach Lincoln Riley downplaying speculation that he might be going and taking that LSU job.
Wow.
Yeah.
There's gonna be some hurt feelings there when Oklahoma
watching his interview, it was being asked a question. He was dodging bullets, dude, because I think that's where he's gonna go. Take over a big program again. But this time you get to go head to head against Saban.
Yeah. Like I said, it's going to be awkward come when Oklahoma and Texas join the SEC when he's got to play his old team again, if that happens.
I don't think that's going to matter, though. I think he knows that team's about to fall.
Well, yeah, he's inheriting a better team. It's going to be more or less awkward for Oklahoma of, shit, we got to play against him.
With better players
than players, yeah. Yeah, I didn't realize. Again, they're not ranked anymore. But Cincinnati plays SMU and Houston the next 2 weeks. which are their two toughest games on their schedule. So SMU's 8-2, so they're having a decent year, and I think Houston also might be 8-2, or might
I
have
think
one
they
loss. They're 9-1.
So both two teams who are very good, according to so if they beat both of those teams, I think
If they can lay the smack on them, maybe they get in the top 4. But again, they got to bank on. Basically, they'd have to bank on Bama losing in the SEC championship. 2-loss Bama out. But if Bama beats Georgia, then Bama stays in. Georgia has to stay in. So basically, Cincinnati needs Bama to lose, or Ohio State to take a loss between now and the end of the year, which could be possible.
Ohio State is the most likely team to lose
because they play Michigan and Michigan State to finish the year.
And they're going to have to play for the Big Ten championship as well.
Yeah, against
Wisconsin, or it's going to be Purdue.
Yeah, and they just laid the pounding on Purdue last week. So, but also I don't know how much Wisconsin's going to put up a fight if they have to play them. I don't know.
I think we could beat them. I think we can beat Ohio State.
If they keep building and looking, but they look better and better every year.
Too much though to get in.
Oh yeah, they're not playing for a college football playoff ranking. They're more or less playing to say
Spoil.
fuck you to Ohio State and knock them out.
We'll still win the Big Ten and we'll kick you out of the college football playoff.
Yeah, because winning the Big Ten championship, that put them in a Rose Bowl then too. Because isn't that Pac-12 champion versus Big Ten championship?
Big Ten, yep.
Yeah, that's all that's really going on in college football. Again, next week, Wednesday, we will see if the rankings get shaken up. I guess
the only way that the Rose Bowl won't be is if the Big Ten championship is in the, like for this year, Oregon and Ohio State, say they both win Pac-12 and Big Ten. They're both in the college football playoffs.
It's whoever lost.
It'd be the two losing teams.
It'd be the two. That's how it because that's happened before to where when
Wisconsin
Ohio State,
and Oregon. Yeah, Wisconsin and Oregon played.
When Ohio State won the national championship in 2015, Wisconsin was in the Rose Bowl because
and USC beat Oregon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, last I guess football thing to throw out there. At the high school level, shout out to the alma mater, Coleman Cougars. They're advancing to state for the first time in school history. They beat Eau Claire Regis 28-22 last Friday, and they will play Reedsville tomorrow down at Camp Randall. So that should be a good one. Might sneak on down and watch that game. Otherwise, I'll definitely
will be on live television.
Yeah. Shoot, what was it? It was some weird.
All state championships are broadcasted local channels,
like 32 or ABC or something.
I don't know what that'd be. I don't know what that'd be for you, but that'd be 7 here for me.
Oh,
because they do all the sports, basketball, every high school state championship for boys and girls is all televised. So I'll definitely be watching that on television. That's for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, that's about it for football. Heading over to the ice then.
Cool moment last night. Kevin Hayes makes his return to the Philadelphia Flyers this season, scores his first goal, and instantly points up to the sky after losing his brother Jimmy Hayes earlier this season. Cool moment for him. He said what he's going to do with that puck is he's actually going to give it to Jimmy, his brother's son, Bo. For something to always remember. And I think that was pretty cool moment there. Flyers ended up winning 2-1 over the red hot Calgary Flames in OT. That was a big game. Hurricanes about to open up a 6-game road trip. They won their first on the road yesterday, 4-2 versus Vegas. The Winnipeg Jets score 3 in the second period and rally to beat the Oilers. Pretty impressive. Buffalo Sabres Tokarski, not a household name, stops 45 shots and holds off the win over the Penguins 2-1 for Buffalo Sabres. That team continues to roll and they're all on shit deals. It's just impressive to me how that team has just rallied from literally being dog shit to they're winning some huge games. Big loss here for the Florida Panthers. They still remain unbeaten at home, but they lose captain Alexander Barkov. Knee-on-knee collision didn't look very good. They didn't really come out and say how long he's to be out, but he will miss some time, definitely for that Florida team. They take on New Jersey Devils tonight as they look to win their 9th straight home game. Some not good news. Clark Donatelli, former minor league coach of the Pittsburgh Penguins system, has been charged with sexual assault. Not going to go into the details there, but just some more weeding out of this whole thing. And hats off here. So I'm going to kind of end the NHL segment today. Hats off to longtime defenseman Dion Phaneuf after he retired after 14 seasons in the NHL. One of the toughest defensemen. Definitely was a household name. If you watched hockey in the 90s, early 2000s, this guy was a fucking beast. And it was pretty cool. They actually flew him up to Toronto, and he ended up getting to drop the puck for the Leafs game last night. And as in like a commemoration type moment for him up in the city of Toronto. And then, I forgot the last thing. Last thing, Hockey Hall of Fame has been announced for this season, the 2020 class. Doug Wilson, Kim St. Pierre, Kevin Lowe, Jerome McGinley, Marian Hossa, and Ken Holland are the 6 people all who have been inducted into the Hall of Fame this year. Jerome McGinley and Marian Hossa leading that list as far as superstars. But yeah, hell of a career to all of you, and you well deserving to make it into the Hockey Hall of Fame. That's a tremendous honor, and yeah, pretty fucking cool. And what a pretty cool coincidence too. Anaheim Ducks ended up winning 5-1 in their 1000th game yesterday. Or excuse me, they ended up winning 3-2 in overtime against the Caps in their 1000th game yesterday. And rookie Trevor Zegras just took his stick and just fucking chucked it up into the crowd after he scored the game winner. It was pretty cool. That team's on a roll right now. I mean, looking at the early standings here, Panthers after their hot start, Toronto right on their heels after really starting slow. They're right behind them, only 2 points back in the Atlantic. Carolina and Washington. Carolina, Washington, New York, and Philly are the top 4 teams in the Metro. Like kicking it over to the other side. Winnipeg Jets, Minnesota Wild are the top teams in the Central. Ducks, Oilers, Flames, and Vegas has been making a push. Seattle has now fallen into last in the Pacific Division. Only 3 points back behind Vancouver, so not a lot. Just still feel bad for the Arizona Coyotes. They did pick up their second win on the season the other day. They've now 2-13. They have 5 points on the year.
Yikes.
Yeah, that's tough to have a long time. That was the first time too in NHL history the other day when the Flyers played the Arizona Coyotes. First time 2 Ironman streaks with both over 900 games played facing each other in the history of the NHL. So that's pretty cool for that to happen. But yeah, sorry, Phil. You're just going to have to keep sucking it up down there in the desert. But yeah, that's really all I got for the NHL. Ovechkin still fucking on a crazy ass pace, dude. He's 3rd in the league in points,
Mm-hmm.
and he's 2nd in goals.
And after tying Brett Hull last week for 4th all time, now he's
3rd by himself.
Moved into 4th by himself. He's at 742 now, so he's been held goalless the last 2 games, I think. But
yeah, Draisaitl and McDavid, as you know, the 2 line mates, up to 33 and 29 points so far on the season. Ovechkin sits at 3rd with 26. And youngster who is making a name for himself, Troy Terry, for the Anaheim Ducks, young kid who played on Team USA World Juniors, won the gold medal. I think it was in 18. So shout out. And yeah, this is going to be, if you want to watch a big game, Chicago Blackhawks battle the Seattle Kraken tonight.
Seattle needs a win.
Seattle needs a win. This will bump Seattle into third last and Chicago into second last, as Chicago has 10 points, Seattle has 9. But yeah, that's all I got. Thanks everyone for coming by. We appreciate all the support. Can't wait to sit down with Packers legend Amon Green next week. We're really looking forward to that. We will be posting that anywhere and everywhere. Excuse me, I said everywhere twice.
Everywhere and everywhere, in case you didn't get it the first time.
But yeah, look for that to be coming out. That's kind of the big thing coming up here. Stay safe, everyone. Yeah, stay safe, everyone, and we'll be back on Friday.